His immaturity level is through the roof, and I'm not even sure how we got casted, to be honest.
And then your boy starts crying.
Hey guys, welcome to our channel. We're going to be reviewing episodes 6 through 9 of Love is Blind Season 9.
Let's get into it.
All right, so the couple has finally arrived to their vacation spot in Mexico. And it starts off with, we see KB and Edmund. So Edmund starts off by giving KB some gifts. He gives her a t-shirt, and what was it else?
It was shoes, a pair of shoes that he gave her. And at this point, she's like, oh, now I gotta, reciprocate at some point because he's starting out giving gifts.
Then we start to see Nick and Annie chill on the balcony.
Next, it switches to Megan and Jordan, who I think they were out chilling on like a patio. He was showing off his tattoos to Megan, asking about different ones. And then she asked if he likes being tickled in different places. In a certain private area, she asked if he likes being tickled. I think that just shows that she's very forward with what she likes and what she wants to get into.
Up next, we start to see Anton and Allie. Allie starts to nitpick a little bit at Anton, telling him to stop kissing with his eyes open.
Which is weird in general, but
Then they started to get into a conversation about the ring. He was talking about how he spent like $5K on the ring. I don't know if it was jokingly, because if I'm not mistaken, Netflix does provide the rings. I think they do have an option to upgrade them. But nonetheless, Allie was saying that $5K was not enough for a ring. It should have been $10K.
Yeah.
So this is when we get to see a little bit of their lifestyles, maybe not meshing so well.
Yeah. She thought $10K was reasonable.
So also on the vacation, we get to see Madison and Joe. Madison begins to explain a little bit more about her eye condition and just reconfirming that Joe is actually comfortable with her condition. And Joe seems to be pretty comfortable, understanding that she may go blind, whether that's 50 years down the road or 5 years down the road. He seems to be understanding and okay with it. We do see she does end up walking into like the door or something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that she was talking about definitely did happen with her walking into stuff. Later on, we get to see Joe kind of talk within his confessionals, or was it to Madison?
No, that was like in his confessional.
In his confessionals, a little bit about Madison and her physique, saying that he typically dates skinnier women. Even though I don't really feel like Madison...
I don't either. I don't feel like she's that big. So he also mentions that, yeah, he's typically into skinnier women and that attraction can grow over time, which to me, that just means that he's not that attracted to her initially, but at least he feels like it could grow over time. As
we continue to go into episode 6, the couples are getting ready for bed. It's their first night there. And there is this scene, there was a bug in KB and Edmund's room. Edmund refused to kill the bug.
Mind you, it was a moth, so harmless. It's not like it's gonna, bite or attack him or anything. He was just, swatting it away, trying to get it away. And then he tried to play it off saying, oh, it's gone, I don't know where it went. And you can see the look on KB's face on how she felt about that whole thing. But she kind of just put it off and went back to doing her face routine.
You gotta kill all bugs, because I'm not killing any bugs.
I do kill all bugs.
The one thing to point out that Edmund says as to the reason why he can't kill a bug is because he wants to be a nice guy and he tried to give the bug a chance. And this is really when you get to see this like savior complex of this nice guy mentality that Edmund just feels like he has. And it's gonna continue to, in my opinion, get worse.
Yeah. I think it's something else, but I can't say that on here.
As Jordan and Megan start to get ready for bed, Megan was brushing her teeth with the water running, and Jordan likes to cut the water off while brushing his teeth, and he turns the faucet off while Megan is brushing her teeth. And this is like the first moment that you get to see a little bit of a lifestyle difference where I guess Jordan definitely prefers to preserve water.
That's kind of how we are too, because typically I turn my water off and she leaves hers on. And sometimes I'll turn it off and she'll turn it right back on, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I don't know how true this is, but I actually read that you waste more water by cutting the sink on and off than just leaving it on.
That's kind of hard to believe. Ollie and Anton went on an ATV date. Nothing really came of it. They just had a good time out there. Next is KB and Edmund, which looks like they went to a little brunch date. So during the date, KB brought up a scenario where if they were in the club together, what would Edmund do if another man grabbed her or said that he wanted her? And basically the whole time, Edmund's just like, he wouldn't do anything about it. He would try to remove her and himself away from the situation. So then she presses further and says, okay, now the man's grabbing my arm. What are you gonna do? Edmund's like, I would call security, or I would still try to move us away. And to me, I couldn't do that. I couldn't agree with that. And you saw on KB's face that she wasn't satisfied with that answer at all. I'm pretty sure she probably didn't feel that protected as a result of knowing what he would do in that situation. Just off principle, me being a man, I gotta slap you. Even if I know that I'm gonna get, beat up, it's the principle that you just can't be grabbing my wife.
Definitely, I think all women should feel protected when they're with their partner, and I do think that was a big sticking point for KB, and to see that Edmund would not be that protector for her if a stranger were to grab her in front of him, I do think that is a major red flag in their relationship.
She even kind of pressed further saying, okay, because initially she was like, what if some buff dude grabbed me? So she was like, all right, take the buffness out of the situation. Let's say it's a guy built just like you, and the answer still didn't change. And she said that she'd be very mad at him as a result of that, if that situation did happen.
She then kind of has her social worker side kind of slip out a little bit there.
Yeah.
And she begins to talk about being like the best version of yourself. And if that's the best that you have to give, then it is what it is. Even though she didn't like the answer, she kind of slipped into that work professional mind frame. And personally, if that's the best that you have to give, it's okay that someone's best is not enough for you.
Yeah. Because he brought up comparing himself to like other guys and all that, and that's really where it kind of slipped out. That she was just like, just be you, just be the best version of you.
The next couple that we see on a date is Joe and Madison. Joe and Madison end up going on a boat date. On the boat date, Madison brings up the fact that the only time that Joe really makes her feel beautiful is when they are in the moments of having like sexual intimacy. So that's the only time Joe was like really complimenting her and making her feel loved, beautiful, safe, and all of the following. So Joe begins to kind of say that he's growing attraction for her, and he doesn't flat out say like, hey, I'm not 100% attracted to you. You're not really my type, and I'm trying to get there, pretty much. He's not very straightforward with his true feelings about Madison.
Next, we see Nick and Annie. They're in the hot tub. They're just having casual conversation. I don't think they showed their date on the show at all. So nothing really came of that. They're just having casual conversations about their future getting married.
So the next morning, the couples are kind of getting ready for the mixer with all the other couples out on their vacation. And we see a small clip of Edmund still being his goofy self. He has toilet paper wrapped around his head. I believe he was in roller skates, just acting honestly very immature in my personal opinion.
Getting on KB's nerves because you can see it in her face. Even though she's the one recording him acting like this, you can see that it's getting on her nerves.
He's very just immature and childish. You could see this behavior through in and throughout the entire time. I'm not sure why a grown man would wrap toilet paper around his head and skate around the villa on vacation. We first get to the mixer. We get to see all the couples start to align. One thing I do want to point out is Megan calls herself Sparkle Megan, but she doesn't wear a lot of like sparkles from what I noticed. I think the sparkle kind of maybe comes from she's very open about her financial situation and having a lot of financial freedom. So I think the sparkle aspect is more so like flashy, buying high-end items and expensive clothing, jewelry. And I think that's really where the sparkle comes from rather than her being like a glitter disco ball kind of person.
Yeah, because I think she just had like it's either a bracelet or a necklace on or something that was a little sparkly. Because I think she did bring that up again when they had the mixer.
During the mixer, the women and the men break off. The men start talking about a lot of their experiences, same thing with the women. It was mainly from what we got to see about their sexual chemistry over time.
It seemed like the guys had just told each other that they all basically had sex the previous night, of course, except for Edmund. And I felt like Edmund was kind of trying to show off in a sense, because he was like, well, no, we didn't have sex yet, but I gotta hit that before I marry her. Just trying to show off in front of the guys. That's what I took from it, at least. The other guys were just like, hey, you know, don't worry about it too much. It'll happen when it happens.
The guys were definitely trying to ease the situation and telling him to be patient, but it just kind of felt like he was coming off as objectifying KB a little bit, as if like, I need to hit that. Like, that's not like a whole person that you're about to marry. Like, there should be feelings involved, and it's not just, she's not just an object. You don't just hit that.
Yeah.
So his immaturity level is through the roof, and I'm not even sure how we got casted, to be honest. Edmund then starts to put sunscreen on all of the women. The men kind of make a joke like, stop putting sunscreen on my woman. And he begins to put sunscreen on KB, on her feet, and sucking the sunscreen off of her feet.
Yeah, just making things awkward. Just rubbing, and KB even says like, hey, there's lotion on my feet. And he just keeps going at it.
Everyone's so uncomfortable. Madison even made a comment like, should I leave?
Yeah.
Like, why are you sucking sunscreen off your fiance's feet in the middle of everyone? The way I would have snatched my feet back so fast, like, don't do that in front of people.
And I think everybody did end up leaving until Annie came back, and then he was making things even more awkward when he brought up the whole Brendan situation with her. He was bringing up how Brendan was crying over her and how he was crying as well. And KB was trying to get him to stop talking about it because she didn't know how that would affect Annie, but Annie seemed to not care. But still, KB was like, basically, read the room, you know, we're having a good time, we don't want to talk about that. And he was just like, Kevin was just like, I know, but still, I just feel like I need to say blah, 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 blah. Madison
begins to interact with Joe, and they talk a little bit, but Joe starts to ignore her and starts goofing off with Jordan. Yeah, with Jordan, and they're drinking a lot. You can
drinking a lot.
Yeah, they're definitely drinking a lot there, and he kind of starts to ignore Madison. Madison gets a little irritated and walks off. You even begin to see Megan get a little irritated with Jordan. She even stated that he was annoying her. Jordan kind of reeled it back in a little bit, but Joe continued this behavior onward. He even made it to a point to where he was like, all right, listen, I'm gonna go back to the room. You stay here at the party, and I'm gonna go relax for a little bit. So he left Madison at the party and went back to go take a nap.
And Madison, I don't think I think she was definitely ticked off, but she wasn't trying to come off that way to Joe. Like, I think she was coming from like a concerned, you know, way, because like she was sad when he left and went back to the room, and she even offered to go with him. And he was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go. You know, I just feel like did he say he felt like he messed things up?
I don't recall him.
Or like
saying that.
I remember he said something along those lines there, and he just left.
He knew he was pushing boundaries a little bit.
I mean, he was getting hammered. I mean, he started saying weird stuff to Jordan about his nipples, and
once Joe was able to get back to the room, take a nap for a little bit, we see Madison come in to check on him. It's a couple hours later in the night, and Madison walks up to him. He is shocked, to say the least. Asks Madison, why are you so dressed up? Where are you coming from? And Madison's like, what? I was at the party. I was at the party. And Joe is like, what party? The pool party, Joe.
Pool party.
So they're just going back and forth. And honestly, Madison should have walked away. It's not entirely her fault in any capacity, but at the same time, like, has she not interacted with anyone drunk? Like, she should have said, Joe, I'm going to bed. I will talk to you in the morning. She should have got him some water, made sure he was still breathing, and walked away, because that back and forth could have saved her a whole lot of tears.
Yeah, she was getting upset because Joe kept asking the same stuff over and over. And she kept saying, like, you just asked me the same question like 4 times. And I think even though she was concerned, I agree, she should have just let him go back to sleep, even though she did get him water. He said he was just waking up. He was clearly still drunk, though, even though he was just waking up.
There was even one point in time where she was mentioning that he drank like too much, and Joe kept saying, stop saying that.
Yeah, he was like, stop saying that.
Looking all around.
Stop saying that.
As if he didn't want that to be said on camera. But we could clearly see it, Joe. You were pretty hammered at that party. This is like funny as a viewer. Definitely want to be sensitive towards Madison and her experience. However, just as a viewer, just we're reacting and it's entertainment. So keep that in mind. She was sitting there on that balcony crying. Joe was trying to sleep and said, I can. Joe said, I can hear you crying. I'm trying to sleep. Madison is like, well, how about you come and check on me? Joe goes back to bed. Oh gosh, so that just really goes to show they're not all that compatible.
Yeah, that compatibility was definitely there was definitely a question mark there at that point. For sure. Next, it jumps to KB and Edmund. They're chilling in the bed, having casual conversation. Initially, he offers to rub her feet once again. And KB's like, I will never say no to you wanting to rub my feet. So they start.
Who can resist a good foot rub?
So, I think KB brought up initially, how does it feel to know that we are the only couple to not have sex yet? And Edmund kinda, I don't want to say he lied, because maybe I didn't watch it right, but he says he didn't know that they were the only couple who didn't have sex, but I'm pretty sure they had that conversation with the guys earlier. So they have that conversation, and Edmund brings up that he does want to take it there with KB, but KB basically says, no, I want to wait until marriage. Waiting 30 days is not that long. But Edmund is like, I guess he asked about her previous partners or the previous people she's had sex with and why he has to wait to do that with her. And KB basically says, well, I didn't really care for those people like that. I didn't even allow them to stay in my house. And then your boy starts crying because she's not letting him have sex with her.
And she starts to laugh a little bit, like at a sense of like disbelief. You do get to see, this is outside of the TV show. I believe she did like a podcast where she talked about, she did begin to laugh because she was like, is this man serious? And that's all how we felt. Like, this man is breaking down crying, saying he's such a nice guy and he's been doing everything for her. Mind you, this is like night 2.
Yeah.
All you've done was rub her feet.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even kill a bug. What is everything that you've done for her?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that does not equate for someone giving you sex. Like, that's not appropriate behavior in any capacity. This man is having a full-on breakdown, and just, he's a man-child.
Yeah, basically.
Point blank period. He's a man-child.
He's crying over not being able to have sex with this girl.
I wanted to snatch KB through that screen. There is no reason my production should have still allowed Edmund to even be in the same vicinity as KB after that interaction. I honestly felt so like worried for her safety in that moment watching that scene.
That was definitely one scene where it definitely did make you kind of uncomfortable, and it made you kind of question like his mental health there, because it should never, you just met this person for one, right? So it shouldn't really take you that far to not be able to do that in that short span of time, you know?
He's always crying about being a nice guy, but a nice guy that doesn't protect women? Okay.
I think one of the first scenes of episode 7 is Jordan and Megan having a conversation about the mixer. He basically apologizes for getting drunk and acting the way he did to Megan. Megan accepts his apology, and then they kiss and make up. After that, it skips to KB and Edmund. Looks like they're having breakfast again. He comes and apologizes to her about the previous night and how things went about the whole sex thing. She accepts his apology too, but you can definitely see on her face that she's either checked out or she's definitely still feeling the type of way about how that went down. Because it was just a weird situation that shouldn't have happened. And I don't blame her for feeling any type of way about that. I mean, I think any person would. KB also brings up that a month ago, the old KB would have reacted a different way to this KB we're seeing on screen. I think she's Kevin. I mean, how much can you change in a month?
Following the first mixer, all of the couples seem to be getting back on track, even Joe and Madison. All the couples are learning how to have conflict and solve it together in their relationship. And everyone seems to be apologizing and getting over any issues that they had over the first few nights. We then see the couples go on a second mixer with all of the couples still on the same resort in Mexico, and the second mixer went better than the first one, to say the least. So no real drama or key points to like really mention during that second mixer.
After that, after the second mixer, Annie and Nick are back in their, I think, hotel room, and she's definitely had a few drinks, and she kind of goes off on a tangent on Nick because it seems like they're not necessarily in the same spot as far as like wanting to get married and getting to know each other, and I guess it really upsets her and it makes her feel insecure to the point where she starts saying things I think is almost to, I don't want to say it's like to hurt Nick, but it kind of comes off that way because she says like, I don't need you in my life. I really don't. I want you here. I want to marry you, but I don't need you. And she says it to him multiple times. And Nick the whole time, honestly, you can kind of commend him because he's just trying to be like, hey, I'm here with you. We're going to get through this. But this is how I feel at the moment. And that could change going forward. And he keeps trying to give her positive reinforcement, essentially, on what she's saying, but she's still acting weird, and it kind of just cuts away. I don't think they really even mended things that night in that scene.
A lot of the issues that Annie brought up, it kind of seemed like she was more so wanting the idea of marriage versus a marriage with Nick in particular. Like, it could have been anyone that she married and she would still feel that strong about getting married. It was like the idea of marriage that she was more so in love with than Nick.
And Nick was clearly thrown off about that whole situation.
The end of episode 8 ends with the couples returning back home. One couple that we see in particular at the very end of episode 8 is Megan and Jordan. Megan and Jordan get back. They haven't even unpacked anything yet. They just got their dinner. They're eating, and Megan starts to break down a little bit. She's kind of freaking out about being a stepmom to Luca, and she's going on this really long tangent just about being a stepmom and all the responsibilities of it. And it's like, you just got back. Like, it's literally day one back into reality. Not even really day one, like night one, because they just got back, and she's having all of these thoughts about being a stepmom. And a lot of times, a lot of their relationship is centered around Luca and diabetes, and it really makes you wonder, like, are you marrying a lifestyle or are you marrying Jordan? Like, it's night one.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think at that point when she starts acting the way she does, like, why are you really doing this? And Jordan the whole time is basically just telling her, like, hey, don't worry about it. Luca's very friendly. He's gonna like you. I think he does set some boundaries, some light boundaries, just saying, like, don't always buy him stuff and, you know, small stuff like that. But overall, he's just like, you know, he's gonna like you. I'm sure you'll like him. But it does, the way she's acting definitely does make you question her reasoning for picking Jordan for sure.
The beginning of episode 9 picks up with Annie and Nick kind of making up a little bit after that whole drunken insecurity tangent that she went on. Nick is like, this can't keep happening. I don't want to go through this again. If this happens again, this will probably be a deal breaker for me. Annie just kind of is like, okay, I acknowledge it, starts love bombing a little bit. And that's pretty much what we see of them.
Yeah, because she says that she had never loved somebody like she loves Nick, which is kind of crazy because you haven't even known the man for a month, but you love him that much compared to, I don't know if she's been with anybody before. They didn't bring that up. But still, to love somebody that intensely after only knowing them for a couple of weeks, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of makes her seem crazy.
When Joe and Madison get back to their shared apartment provided by production, they have this conversation pretty much where Joe was like, Madison doesn't show any type of emotions. Like, does she have any concerns or like worry? And Madison's like, I do show those things to you. And I do say like how crazy this is. And I just honestly feel like this is a prime instance of Joe just being highly misunderstood. He's definitely not the best communicator, and that can definitely lead to the misunderstanding of a lot of what he says. I think he was just trying to get her to express a little bit more about how she's feeling, because he was feeling so out of touch with reality and the process and everything. He was having a little bit of fears, worry, and doubt that maybe he was trying to convey, but just it didn't come off communicated well.
And this is kind of where we kind of saw it different, because in my eyes, I'm like, I'm kind of like with Madison, because Madison literally asked him, like, do you know what you signed up for? Like, I know what I signed up for, and yeah, I do have reservations, and yeah, this is a little, crazy, but this is what we signed up for. And Joe is basically like, yeah, like this whole thing is crazy, but it's like you signed up for it. So did you just sign up for it? I think it was definitely when reality for him was setting in, that, oh, I'm really in this. Like, I'm really about to marry this person in a couple of weeks. I think he also brings up that she seems like too sure about him, which is, I don't know. That could go either way, but once again, it kind of goes back to that same point where it's like, okay, you're the person I chose in the pods. I have to be sure about you. And even though she has reservations, he has reservations, but it just seems like he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what I got from it, personally.
The next day, the couple start to share their apartments and where they live, and we get to see friends and family appear. So we're not gonna go over every single last interaction with family and friends, just a few like key moments that we feel like are worth mentioning. One in particular, we get to see Edmund's mom. Edmund's mom comes to meet KB for the first time, and we see some interactions there. One key thing that I wanted to bring up was she mentioned like raising Edmund well, and a lot of like Edmund's story that he kind of expressed in the pods was he aged out of like foster care. He was in and out the system, so it was odd to see her kind of come in and be like, yeah, I raised him so well, but then Edmund's like, yeah, you didn't raise me.
Yeah, not really, because it seemed like, I think I mentioned it in the previous video, that he said that he'd only be with her for a couple of weeks, maybe a month at a time, and then something would happen, he'd end up back in the group home.
Area that was a key moment was Joe's apartment tour. Joe's apartment was very bare. Like, a lot of times, it makes me wonder if some of these participants actually lived in the space that they're showing, because he had like almost nothing in there. He was a little shocked that things were in the places that they were. He said they had a PS5 and the cameraman.
It was a PS4.
Yeah, they zoomed in, it was a PS4, and I'm not sure that Joe lived there.
I was gonna say, it definitely seemed like, you, as a man, like, your game system. You don't mess up a game system. So that right there, that's a major red flag for me right there. So Anton and Ali go out to what looks like dinner. They meet up with Anton's friend and his girlfriend. At one point at the dinner, Ali and the girlfriend go to the bathroom.
Repeat that, it's Ali.
Ali?
Yes.
Oh, I've been calling her Ali the whole time. So, Ali?
Ali.
Ali. So Anton and Ali, oh, okay. At one point in the dinner, Ali and the girlfriend go to the bathroom, and they're having conversations, and the girlfriend brings up how Anton and the friend often go out to strip clubs, they go out drinking, and I guess Ali didn't know that about Anton, and she's not really liking that he does that, or that he even used to do that. After that, they go back to the table.
She says that he's in trouble, but we never really get to see them really explore that and have that real conflict. They really just kind of come off as that couple, like every season, there's just one couple that's always happy, bubbly, nothing really goes wrong. And even though Ali does have some concerns, we never see them bring it up together. We don't get to see that conflict on camera. Megan and Jordan tour a $2 million house, and clearly they're not on the same page in terms of how much they want to spend on a house or how much house that they need. And Jordan really seems very uncomfortable during this whole entire process and letting Megan lead within finances and providing for the family.
Next we have another mixer. They go to what looks like
line dancing.
Yeah, line dancing. Everybody's having a good time initially. And then the singles from the pods, a few of them show up. Patrick, Anna, babe, help me out.
Kate, Mike, Patrick, Brendan, and Anna show up, and they all do line dancing.
They all mingle, it's cool. Brendan hugs Annie. Annie says that his energy was kind of off towards her, but it's like, you made your decision, so why would I act a certain way or act how I was acting in the pods towards you when you chose somebody over me, basically? I don't know, it just seemed off a little bit. Next, it cuts to Patrick and Anna. They have a conversation, and Patrick basically just, says how he feels about her leaving and that she was his number one. And then after that, she brings up how how could she be the number one when he proposed to somebody else? And it's like, you can't really say that because you left, and you left without even saying anything to him. So just because you left, the experiment's not over for him. And he brings up how she said, you know, you'll notice that person when you just have that feeling. And I guess he had that feeling about her, but she ended up leaving. And she just says it's not fair to basically say that I was the one when you proposed to somebody else.
When all the couples are together, they're kind of chit-chatting. Annie makes a comment about Nick being like the perfect guy and the perfect guy for her. And Edmund's like, oh, that must be nice. Kind of referencing almost as if KB doesn't say anything nice about him. And KB does press that issue. She's like, you know, one, why are you saying that I don't say anything nice to you? Why are you bringing this up in front of other people instead of bringing it up to me in privately? And we'll later find out that there was a little bit of tension prior to that party, but for the sake of episodes 6 through 9, that's as far as we'll go, so we don't give any spoilers, even though I think we kind of just did. But that's where we get to see a little bit of a riff between the two.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument. Not really an argument, but KB is definitely upset. And she's upset to the point where she doesn't even want Edmund to talk to her. And, you know, he's just like, I love you though. And
don't talk to me.
And she basically told him that when she's upset like that, don't do that.
Yeah.
And he did it anyway. And then she gets upset to the point where she goes to the bathroom and cries, and then comes back out. He's still trying to talk to her, and she's just like, don't talk to me.
And that wraps up episodes 6 through 9.
Stay tuned for the next part. It should be coming out next week. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Comment down below if there's anything that you want our opinions on that we maybe did or did not touch on.
And we will see you in the next video.